Welcome to this session on how to do the Year 10 Summer Health and the People mock. So Medicine Through Time, British Health and the People 1000 AD to present day. Some advice and guidance on how to answer the 4 questions that you'll be faced with in the exam and in this mock exam. There's a second part of this video to come that will give you some model answers as well. First and foremost is the first question, and the first question is always a source. It's usually a picture source in this exam because it just gives you a way of getting in, because everybody can look at the picture and see what's going on, working out what's going on. There are 2 parts of every source we should look at as usual. There's the provenance and the content itself. Let's look at the question first and foremost. Study source A. How useful is source A to an historian interested in the development of anaesthetics? Explain your answer using source A and your contextual knowledge. Okay, which words would you highlight in that question? You should give you a couple of seconds to do that. I'm going to put them up as I go through. Which words would we highlight? I'd highlight how useful. There you go, it's a key question. And I'd highlight explain. And then I would go, what do we need to know? It's for anaesthetics. So automatically my brain's going, what do I know about anaesthetics? What can I remember about anaesthetics? Now look at the source itself. In the source you've got this bit. This is the content, is what it actually shows, and in the source we can see somebody having what looks to be some work done on their foot. They look to be unconscious. There's a man standing here, maybe with this guy here is holding some kind of rag, which maybe is administered the anaesthetic. We start to get some clues about what's going on, but if we read the provenance we get even more. A drawing from the 1860s, automatically we're going ether, chloroform, development in anaesthetic, Hannah Greener's death from a chloroform overdose during an operation. Excellent. Hannah Greener, we've heard of her, we know what's going on, we know that she struggled with the chloroform and didn't wake up from that. We know one of the biggest problems with chloroform, you could be going too much. So things we can think about, which words have we highlighted. What can be inferred from the source? Inferred, great word. It means suggestion. What can be suggested from this source? What does it show? So how do we read between the lines? Is this saying, well, obviously he's chloroformed her, she's ill. That's direct. Inference. Chloroform is very dangerous. Operations in the 1860s are very dangerous. They don't really know what they're doing. Yeah, simple operations like an ingrown toenail can lead to death. All about what? How complete is the source? Does it show us everything? Well, no, because by this point we know chloroform was becoming famous. Queen Victoria being given it by John Snow in 1857. Yeah, what does the source actually show us? How would it help an historian? How would it hinder a historian? Would it lead them into the wrong kind of conclusions? That's what you've got to decide. Then contextually, how important is provenance? Very important. When is it set? How does it fit with your time? Target is AO3 and AOB. Analyse and evaluate sources. We'll talk about that further into this session. Okay, the utility thing. The utility is really important. The way we always try and coach this, way we look at it, is look at our useful bucket. How useful is this bucket? Yeah, buckets are useful. You carry stuff in them. We can go water, we can go sand, we can go rags, we can go rocks, we can carry anything in a bucket. That's what makes it useful. So the source you are given is like the bucket. It's going to be useful. It's going to be useful for something. Yeah. If the bucket has a hole in this level, we can still carry water in it, but it's limited because we can only fill it so far with water. But if we know where the hole is, we can bypass that. We can go fill up just below the hole. It doesn't leak anymore. We can put other things in it that don't fit through the hole. That is the same with sources. If you know where the weaknesses are, if you know where the unreliability, the bits you can't trust, actually recognising that makes it more useful because you're now an expert. You say, look, based on my knowledge, I know this bit's not accurate, but it's still useful because it shows us what this person thinks, or it shows us what this person thinks, or it shows us the message that this person was trying to get across. It's just like having a hole in your bucket again. Just because it's got a hole in the bottom, that bucket isn't useless. It's got a great big hole gaping in the bottom. We can still carry rags in it. Rags don't fall through that hole. So it's still going to be useful in some way. The more you recognise the weaknesses, the more useful it actually becomes. It's not the less useful, if that's even a correct phrase, that it becomes. Right, so gone into this. Study source A. We've highlighted the words that we've shown earlier. We've looked at that. Have you highlighted those? Great. So what can it infer? It infers surgery is dangerous surgery from clinics performed at home. It's not very scientific. It's not very professional. That's what it infers. It doesn't say that anyway. It doesn't say, oh, no, you have to work that out for yourself. It only shows this one famous example of the dangers of surgery. I talked about Queen Victoria as well. It emphasises this dark period of surgery, 1848 to around about 1870, when surgery actually got worse. How important is the provenance? Well, it's very important. Chloroform has been around for 12 years. Yeah, they've already kind of moved off ether, and then they've moved back onto ether because it's flammable. But it shows you, look, people were worried about the danger of anaesthetics. People were worried about what anaesthetic was doing and what might happen during those surgical operations. You've got to explain 3 points that make it useful. It's useful because of what it shows us about anaesthetics at the time. It's useful because of what it helps us to understand about anaesthetics at the time. It's useful because of who's making it, when they're making it, and why they're making it, what that message is they're trying to get across. 3 things you are looking for: content. Yeah, what's in it? Context. How does it fit with your knowledge of the time? And then the prominence of the purpose. What is it trying to get across? What is the message, and who is that message aimed at? Okay, question two. Question 2 is to explain the significance question. Easy terms, think about it in this. Top of your paper, you write down. Significance means how important over a period of time. It's more than just saying it's important. It's, look, it was important then it might become more important, then it might become less important, then it might become more important again. So development over time, explain the significance of penicillin in development of medicine. Well, automatically in your head, you're thinking this. Where does penicillin fit? Is it more important or less important than other discoveries? What lessons have we learned through the process? What second order lessons have we got? So, okay, penicillin is great, but what is discovering penicillin or manufacturing penicillin? How is that out to the development of other drugs as well? Yeah, the scientific method. How does that become important in other things? Then, you know, penicillin itself, what we're comparing it to, is it more or less important than vaccinations, for example? What time was penicillin most important? You know, when Fleming leaves that petri dish out in 1928 on the side, and he comes and he finds his penicillin, great discovery, but not important because we're not doing anything with it. And then in 1938, Florence and Chain start working on it. Again, important, but not massively important because loads and loads of people aren't getting penicillin. By World War II, when we learn how to mass produce penicillin with Florence, Chain and Heatley, when we learn how to mass produce penicillin, it suddenly becomes more important, as a bearing on whether or not we win World War II, possibly. After World War II, with the introduction of the NHS and everybody can get penicillin in the UK on prescription, surely it's vastly more important to how important it is now. Is it really important now? Antibiotics? Of course they are. And there are more antibiotics now than just penicillin. Impact at the time, impact over time. You've got to get those into this answer. Question 3. Compare the treatment of disease in the Middle Ages and the time of Edward Jenner. Explain only two, where's the camera, 2 ways in which they were similar. Yeah. Go with the similar. Compare means emphasise both similarity and difference, but this question as similar. What I would say is start with the difference. Don't give me a difference, don't give me a long explanation, but start with, look, we've got 2 different time periods here, so we'd expect things to be different. However, yeah, so by Edward Jenner we've got vaccination, but actually just having one vaccination doesn't change treatment disease for everybody else. It stops people getting disease. So it's like a trap. This question is a trap to get you to fall into and go, oh yeah, they must be different because it's 500 years apart. We must know. Yeah. So I put that Jenner vaccines are much better. No, it's not. That's a trap they want you to fall into. It says treatment, so you've highlighted that word treatment. You must focus on treatment, but cause and understanding cause dictates treatment. So you've got to talk about that. Pragmatism, that great word, pragmatic, it means practical. How practical was it? Spiritual, we know has been important. How was the disease treated? What did people believe caused disease? What was the reaction of people to epidemics? What pressure was applied to government leaders? All of this is about society and people. So treatment of disease was similar because one way they were similar, another way, yeah? Given 2 distinct time periods, make sure you make reference to both. Don't just write about one and then mention the other. It's got to be that equal balance again in your answer. And then finally, the 16-mark question, the biggie. Religion was the main factor in the development of surgery in Britain between the Middle Ages and 1870. How far do you agree with this statement? Explain your answer with reference to religion and other factors. So you've got religion, you've got to talk about it. It's giving you as the factor. You must explain how important religion is. Now, it's really good, this. It's giving you Middle Ages to 1870. We know that religion in the Middle Ages was the most important thing in medicine and therefore in everybody else's life. Everything. But does it stay that way? No, it doesn't. So actually what you've got is a decreasing pattern in the importance of religion. It's great for this answer if you can do that. If it stays kind of stable, this answer is much more difficult to write. But you're saying, look, religion was really important in 1100 or AD or 1000 AD. By 1450, it's not so important. By 1870, it's not that important at all. It gives you your answer. Yeah, it says what is the main factor? Well, if religion isn't the main factor, what is? And does that main factor stay the same in all those time periods? My argument would be no, it wouldn't. It's replaced by science and technology. Science and technology emerges, religion decreases. Yeah, changes over time. What were they? Range. You must use the entire time period. You must talk about things from the Middle Ages, from the Renaissance, right to 1870. Don't miss a period out because you can't think of anything. You've got to get something in there. Equally on this paper, you get your 4 marks for spelling, punctuation and grammar, and they must be in there. Essay question, 5 paragraphs. A little bit of an introduction, 3 main paragraphs comparing factors, linking factors, and your reinforced conclusion. Whatever you say in your introduction, you must say in your conclusion. We've got a few more examples here. Individuals, government, investment, science and technology. This one here is really important. Let me highlight it for you, sorry. Improvements, pace, rapid, slow. What's the change? All the same, all the time. And then this bit, as religion decreases, what becomes important? What replaces it? You've got to have those into your answer. You've got to show that you understand those things in order to get top marks on this.